Welcome to episode 67 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Sense. Talk about timing. After last night's first hard freeze of the season, competitive winter sports in our area are literally just right around the corner. And today I'm joined by Matt Dougherty of the North Country Sports Council to discuss the upcoming World Snowshoe Championship presented by Nicolet National Bank to be held December 19th through 21st at Ariens Nordic Center in Brillion. The World Snowshoe Championships draws elite athletes from around the world, and in 2024, the event was held in central Spain with athletes participating from not only Spain, but also the US, Italy, France, Great Britain, Argentina, India, Canada, and Sweden. As part of this year's World Snowshoe Championship presented by Nicolet National Bank, the North Country Sports Council, in partnership with Ariens Nordic Center, is adding the US Snowshoe Championships and an Open Championships competition to the docket, allowing snowshoe enthusiasts and fans 3 days of snowshoeing. This year's prize money is the largest purse ever offered for a snowshoe event in North America, further elevating the competition's prestige. So with all that, welcome to the Travel Calumet Original Podcast, Matt. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. And you're right. Winter is knocking at the door. I'm calling from Saranac Lake, New York this morning, and there's snow in the mountains.
All right. It's just right around the corner for sure. So, Matt, will you walk through the event for listeners and what's going to be happening? What can athletes, volunteers, participants, and fans expect at this year's event?
Yeah. So we have a kind of a unique setup this year. We're going to have 3 days of racing with the World Championships being the focus, which will be happening on Saturday. The Friday before Saturday, the US Snowshoe Championships will happen, which will be a 5K race. And then Sunday's race will be an open kind of community-based race. So 3 days of racing, US Championships, World Championships on Saturday, and then an open race on Sunday. And the open race, I should mention, is a Santa snowshoe and ski. So there's a Santa ski, and then after the ski race, we'll have an open Santa snowshoe race, kind of a fun event to wrap up the full weekend for us.
Serious racing followed with a little fun at the end. Sounds like a great
Yeah,
time. And our spectators welcome.
Yeah, not only are spectators welcome, this is one of those unique events where spectators are encouraged to get involved. Anybody can do these races. So come out and watch it, but also think about joining us for one of the races.
And with an increasing fan base, why do you think the sport of snowshoeing is continuing to draw more and more fans each year?
I think it's an easy sport for people to get into. It's similar to running. Running, you have just a pair of shoes, shorts, whatever. In the winter, you got your running shoes and a pair of snowshoes. And Uh, like I think anyone who lives in a northern climate knows the more you can get out in winter and find a way to enjoy it, the faster winter goes by, but also the more enjoyment you get out of it. So it's just a really easy way for just about anyone to enjoy winter.
And how will this year's event differ from the 2024 World Championships that were held in Spain?
I think the two biggest differences are that we have 3 days of racing here. So there's a broader kind of base of racing. And this event's really focused on getting the community involved this time around. So really opening it up. The races in Spain were super amazing. They were at high altitude. So really, I think people who are super focused on racing were interested in that race versus this race. We hope anyone, whether it's your first time racing or you're a seasoned veteran, hoping to win the pro purse, it's accessible for everyone really this time around.
So when I've seen pictures of racing, I've attended a couple of races in the past. I don't know how to describe it. I think running plus snowshoeing. Is that a fair, safe way of saying it?
Yeah, yeah. It's like watching a marathon start, except for you're going to see snow flying in the air everywhere because it's getting kicked off the snowshoe. So it's a bit of a scene, but it's just really is running on top of the snow.
And it's more of it's a sport that spectators attend. There were a lot of cowbells when I was at the last one I
Yeah.
was at. Is that kind of a similar feel to like a Nordic skiing event?
Yeah, it's like a Nordic skiing event for sure. There's people there cheering. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of events going on. Grab yourself a coffee, a hot chocolate, ring a cowbell, and cheer on all the racers.
Will you spend some time introducing the North Country Sports Council to our listeners? First of all, what is it, and where's it located, and what's your role with it, Matt?
Yeah, so the North Country Sports Council is an organization that is focused on using sports and events to drive economic development throughout North Country. And we use the word North Country on purpose because it it refers to whether it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, or our home base, which we're located in the Adirondack Mountains of New York. So we're in Saranac Lake, New York is where our offices are. We're looking to really probably as a primary focused on Nordic sports, winter sports, and how we can bring those events in and drive economic development in areas.
And why do you think it's needed? Why do you think your organization is needed?
When you can organize around events, you have an economic driver. It's a consistent thing. Kind of, I don't want to say regardless of weather, but it helps balance the economic drivers. And it also, a sports council takes the risk away. So for an organization to go out and say they wanted to host an event, there's an inherent amount of financial risk. Sports councils come in and they serve as that buffer. So Nordic Center like the Ariens can host an event without having to worry as much about, the economics of the specific event and their profit loss margin. That's what sports councils can really do for an area.
The competition is sanctioned by the World Snowshoe Federation. And could you maybe explain to listeners what the World Snowshoe Federation is and what its function is?
The World Snowshoe Federation came about as a part of organizing, really, obviously in the name itself, the world and all these great snowshoe events that have happened into a kind of a streamlined series of events. So there's been snowshoe races like the Cespolata in Italy, which attracts, 8 to 10,000 people and has been going on for decades and decades and decades. And taking all of those different organizations and putting them together to have one voice and say, each year we're going to have a world championships and we're going to organize around these other events. So they're kind of the governing body that organizes snowshoe racing at the world level. And then all of like the US, we have US Snowshoe Association, and they all work together to promote snowshoeing and grow that sport.
So does the championship move year to year, or is it like maybe a few years in one spot and then moves, or how does that work?
Yeah, it tends to move every other year. So it'll go, whether it's, it went from Spain to North America, it could go to South America next, it could go back to Europe. And I think somewhere around the time we host our championships, there'll be an announcement for where it's going to go next year, and then where we'll go the year after that as well.
So with that level of anticipation, then is there like a competitive process in place for the different cities vying for this, kind of like the Olympic cities vie, the
Yeah.
applications? Yeah, okay. Can
Yeah,
you
it's the
walk through
same
that
thing.
process?
It goes in. There's a process, an RFP process that goes out, and different either cities or organizations can bid on it, and then they win the right to host it, and then they get to put on the event in that following year.
So this isn't just something that Brillion was chosen just because there was a lot of work that went into this application, this process, and then the selection was based on merit, not just because, oh, let's throw it at Ariens Nordic Center. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. We as an organization won the rights to host this event, and we went after several venues to ask them to respond to our proposal that we believe in, that we know in, that thought would be great. And in the end, Aaron's response and proposal just kind of blew us out of the water. They were for sure the best place for us to host it this year.
And now you have a sponsor, a presenting sponsor, Nicolet National Bank. Could you maybe walk through what their responsibility is and how they're helping out with this event this year?
Yeah, so Nicolet is coming as the title sponsor for this event. We're super excited about that they come in with some financial support for the event, which helps us with prize money, awards, all those extra things that make this event great. There'll be a banquet involved with it, fireworks, all these kind of other experiences. So their support allows us to expand it. And what we're really doing with their support is expanding and looking at how we bring the communities in surrounding Brillion to this event, to watch this event and get kind of involved in it.
What are some of the athletes that are going to be participating in this year's events, and where are they coming from?
So registration's just starting to tick up here now. So we're starting to see athletes from around the world. We're seeing a great number of Canadian athletes signing up so far. And obviously, as you'd expect, since it's in the US, we're getting a larger number of North American participants and US athletes so far. Some we're hoping to see here soon. Stéphane Ricard, who was second place in the last World Championships from France. He's planning to come as we understand it. We've got a young man out of New York, Elliot Soderheim, who's the defending junior world champion, who's already confirmed to be coming in. And we think he'll probably be in the mix for the senior world title this year as well. He's moved up in age group. And then a bunch of young college athletes too that we're seeing sign up. So that'll be really interesting. There's some real speedy like cross country and track runners who will be there racing that could be fighting for a world title, and definitely will be competing for that US championship on Friday as well.
I've seen snowshoeing competitions before, and as someone who enjoys recreational snowshoeing immensely, I know that it is a sport that you just don't roll out of bed one day and decide to start racing competitively. What type of training is necessary to prepare for this elite competition?
Yeah, so I'd say on the elite end, these athletes are doing a lot of probably run training at this time of the year, and they're also doing some training to just prepare for it is slightly different running in snow, right? That surface different than a road or a trail. So they're probably doing some strength training, but they're training a lot like an elite marathoner probably at this time of the year. They're out there putting in a high volume of miles and quite a bit of intensity work. And then I would imagine the ones who are really focused in are getting a bit of strength work in that weight room to get the legs ready for the snow. But it is also the beautiful thing about this race. It's got the elites, but it's also like this is a race for the first timers. You can come and we'll have a couple of vendors with demo snowshoes. You can sign up, and it doesn't matter if you walk the race, jog the race, you can come out and do it and be racing along these people who are going to have been training for a year for this event.
So is it similar to a marathon where you release the elite runners first and then followed by the less elites? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it'll be very similar to that. We'll do a call up, is what we'll call it. So the athletes with elite performances will get first and second row startup positions, and then everyone will really start the same. But you'll be able to, after those call ups, self-seed yourself based on where you think you're going to finish. If you're like, I'm just here, I want to complete it, I want to be in the World Championships, I can say that. And that's some of the great stories we've heard from previous World Championships. A 65-year-old said, I raced in my first World Championships. It's awesome. I'm so glad I did that. They can line themselves up where they feel comfortable in it.
So why Ariens Nordic Center? Why was that chosen? I know they went through an application process, but
Yeah.
the facility itself has to meet standard too. So why was it chosen?
So there's a lot of reasons Ariens Nordic Center was chosen. One of them, these probably aren't even in order. One is that snowmaking ability is world class there. So with everything we're seeing with whether it's Nordic skiing, snowshoeing, any of these winter sports, the volatility of weather of the last 5 to 10 years really means that having a venue is going to have the snow when you need it is vital. And we've watched since Ariens has opened up that they are consistently making snow. They're opening on time and they're able to produce snow even when winter isn't starting off the way, when it's got that rough start where the engine isn't quite started, they're still ready for it. So that provides security in terms of just knowing you're going to be able to do the event no matter what Mother Nature's throwing at you. And then secondly, I would say operationally, they just have such a great unit of people running events there and operating their system, whether it's Sean, Monica, that whole team there does such a great job that we knew that working with them was going to be seamless. Being able to take our sports council and their group and merge them together and to run an event was going to make it an outstanding event. And then third, I think for us, like we know Wisconsin, the culture there, one of the oldest snowshoe races in the world used to be held in Wisconsin. It was basically from one side of the state to the other side of the state. This is ended in 1989, but it was a great race, and then it started in the 1950s. It's got a long history there, and we also wanted to bring people and expose them to the culture of Wisconsin. I mean, what's better than coming to Wisconsin and throwing a party, having some beers and brats, and really enjoying it?
I can't disagree with you at all on that. So would you walk us through what the schedule is looking like? Well, how it currently stands, the events, what's happening each day, and that sort of thing.
Friday's the opening day of the races. Thursday will be open day for registration. Athletes can come in. We'll be doing registration at the Ariens Museum. Come through, pick up your packet. There'll be vendors. You kind of get a lay of the land. Athletes will come through and kind of preview the course on Thursday. And Friday is the US Snowshoe Championships, which so athletes will basically showing up in the morning, getting themselves ready, somewhere between 9 and 10 in the morning. And then there will be the race will be starting at noon on Friday. So that'll be the US 5K Championships. It's a 5K for everyone, whether they're a junior or senior athlete. Afternoon, it'll be a 2:30 awards ceremony right there at the Ariens Nordic Center. And actually, Friday afternoon from 3 to 5 will be like a meet and greet party for all the athletes and people participating. Anyone's welcome to come. Hot chocolate, all of this fun stuff, fires, and just a chance for all the athletes to congregate and talk a little bit. And then Saturday is the big day. So that's going to be the World Snowshoe Championships. It'll be an 8 a.m. start for most athletes to get out there, start to get ready. with the World 10K Championship starting at 10 a.m. After that, at noon, we'll have a flower ceremony. So we'll be awarding the prizes to the top 3 men and women overall. We'll have right there. And then Friday evening, there is an awards banquet at the Ariens farm. And so that'll be a big banquet with the awards. And after the awards, we'll have a fireworks show and really celebrate that World Championships. Sunday, there will be the Santa ski race starting at 9 a.m. So that's a ski race for all levels of skiers, all the different age groups you can expect. And then following the Santa ski race, we'll turn the course over and be ready for the Santa snowshoe event. And this has kids races from 400 meters up to 1K, 3K races, and then a community 5K for anyone looking to race. And we expect quite a few of the racers to stick around for Sunday as well. There'll still be a pro prize for that race. So we'll be mixing in, really first time and kid racers all the way through elite athletes on Sunday. Should be a real fun way to end the event.
All right. Sounds like a lot of action packed into the weekend, plus fireworks, plus you said there's going to be food, there's going to be all sorts of other things going on. So sounds like
Yeah.
a family-friendly event.
It's definitely a family-friendly event and one that anyone can get involved in. Anyone can come sign up. If you did the Mike Ariens 5K fun run this year, you should be saying, I'm going to sign up for this event too.
So I have to ask you, events like this just don't happen. Can you maybe give an idea what kind of level of volunteers that are needed for an event like this?
Yeah, events like this take support on a lot of levels. Title sponsors, it takes Ariens Nordic Center committing their staff, and then it takes a community, people to come in and help run these events. And volunteerism is the only way these things really work. Whether it's people helping out with the registration process or helping the timer, helping people as they cross the finish line get their timing chips off and make sure that they're standing up or any of those things, course marshals out on course. It takes people at every level to put on these events and people willing to volunteer their time. So I would say anyone looking to volunteer and get involved, you can get on the Ariens website and there's a sign up there for volunteering. You can do a 2-hour stint, a 4-hour stint. You can sign up and help all 3 days. Be another great opportunity for people to get involved and really experience the event from the other side of the fence, actually.
The elite athletes that are out there that are looking to come, have any reached out to you or anybody that you know and asked what's in Wisconsin if they have not been here before? Why the draw? Have they asked that question?
Yeah, some of them have been like that. I've had a few reach out, a group of athletes looking to come from India too. So they obviously aren't familiar with Wisconsin. And I said, it's one of those the Midwest of the US is a place to celebrate winter. I said, so it's going to be this great place that has a culture of winter and people who embrace it. And I said, you're not going to find a place that people aren't more excited about winter and sports there and are ready to celebrate athletics and and throw a great party. So.
Okay, great. So people want to learn more. Where would you direct them to find more information, Matt?
Go to the Ariens Nordic Center website. You find everything you want there. Click on the World Snowshoe Championships banner, and you can read through whether it's volunteering, registering for the races, or just looking at the schedules.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt, for joining me on episode 67 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. Much success to you and all that you're working on in prepping for the December 19th through 21st, 2025 World Snowshoe Championship presented by Nicolet National Bank. That's going to be held at Ariens Nordic Center. And listeners, thank you for tuning in to episode 67 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. Please make sure to check out the other 66 episodes of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast by scrolling down the homepage and clicking on the microphone at travelcalumet.com or by finding us on your favorite podcatcher or podcast app. And if you liked what you heard today or previous episodes, please share with and invite your friends to listen to the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. Help us spread the news of all the great things to see and do here in Calumet County, like the 2025 World Snowshoe Championship presented by Nicolet National Bank this weekend before Christmas. Thank you again, Matt. Appreciate your time. Thank you all out there listening, and until next time.